Steve Swengel here at Refined MD and welcoming RB Cystic, who is our distributor for DefenAge. And RB and I are kind of here to talk about the fact that DefenAge has come out with a totally new line that's a more powerful system and providing even better, faster results for people. So I'll kind of let you kind of discuss what happened, what's in it, and then we'll kind of go over it together.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So last September we started launching our new Pro exclusive line. So it's only available in medical facilities. It's not available for purchase online, so people will have to come here to purchase it. It is a stronger product and it has a lot more of the active ingredient in it. So we have over the past 4 or 5 months rolled out everything we have in both the Pro and then the original purple line. Mm-hmm. So we have both available depending on your price point and how strong of a product you'd like to have.
Actually, a new brochure, so we now can kind of have people understand that the entire line now is available in the Platinum Pro.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd say too, for anyone who's been using DefenAge and has fallen in love with it like I have, and I think you have too, that it's not that much more expensive. So I think that it's worth every penny because you get that much more powerful defensive level of care. They're not really disclosing the percentage, but I've said to people it's definitely a greater percentage where you'll see faster results and better results. I think one thing we talked about, Harvey, which I wasn't aware of, is that the defensins are actually 2 different kinds of peptides. There's the alpha
Correct.
and the beta.
Correct.
And the original one was the alpha product, which is...
I actually have both in the original.
Oh, they both have the original.
Yeah. So the alpha and the beta work a little bit different. So we use the alpha defensin 5 specifically. Not that you have to remember that with defensins.
There'll be a test.
The alpha defensin 5 is the peptide that activates the LGR6 positive stem cell, which is the stem cell that grows new basal cells when you have injury. We also put the beta defensin 3 in it, and when you apply that to the skin, what happens is the shells of the keratinocytes become tight with each other, and it basically seals your skin and it locks the moisture in. But we had a new study, we didn't do the study, but there was a new study that was released last September as well. Perfect timing for our stuff, we had nothing to do with it though. Mm-hmm. And it shows that the beta defensin that we put in there to seal the skin is actually aiding in wound healing and causing angiogenesis as well as the cell migration and proliferation within the dermis.
Now, is it also in the barrier balance cream?
So both the barrier cream and the serum have both beta and alpha defensins in them. Okay. Now the serum has a higher concentration, and that's why when you apply the serum last, we always tell you to do it last because it seals the skin and it locks moisture in. So whatever you apply on top of the serum is not going to penetrate through.
Right. The one thing that people always ask me, because everyone's trying to watch their budget, is do I have to use the barrier balance cream? And I kind of have a pat answer for it, but I'd like to have your explanation of why it's an important part of the whole process.
Yeah, so when you apply the barrier cream, it does help prep the skin. So when you put the serum spreads easier, but it also helps the serum penetrate better. And if you've ever put them on backwards by accident, which happens sometimes, you'll notice that the product kind of beads up and it doesn't absorb into the skin properly. So it's really important to make sure you're using the barrier cream first, help prep the skin, and then apply the serum on top. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, the new study that just came out last year also shows that the more defensins you apply to the skin, the better result you get. So from age 30 to age 70, you lose about 30% of your own defensins. Mm-hmm. So by applying both, we're basically adding an additional 20% of defensins, and that's going to help give you a better result.
Well, it kind of makes sense that there are different defenses for different purposes because if it's a peptide released by our bodies when the skin's injured, the skin not only needs to kind of replicate and start repairing, but it needs to protect itself in the process.
Absolutely.
And I think that we kind of see that back when I was a Mohs surgeon and we'd let wounds have to wash them randomly because that was the only way to go. It was a really slow process where you were always trying to find a better way to improve the barrier so that the skin would heal. So this makes absolute sense.
And that's also why I feel using it post-procedure too, like as you're healing, it's going to help stimulate those stem cells that aren't naturally being stimulated by your body anymore.
Right.
So it's really boosting that healing process.
But also I think it's a good product actually if you are going to be going through any sort of like ablative surgery or fractionated laser where there's injury and repair. that it's probably best to actually start using this at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the procedure itself, so that you kind of have that skin kind of moving a little bit. And I definitely have to say to people, once you have kind of gone through the initial kind of closure of the skin and the recovery, which is basically in 24 hours, I'd say to them to go back to your DefenAge right away.
Yeah.
And I think they all kind of say, wow, it made a big difference. They heal fast.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've also noticed over the years that when people use DefenAge, because of the process that we're activating within the skin, it is more like doing a treatment. It's not necessarily just like a typical skincare product. So when you see results from the product, those results are going to last even if you stop using the product.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that's going to just disappear within weeks of stopping the product.
Well, and I typically, I think it's really something that virtually everyone should be using or could be using. But I do have this group of people who come in and I kind of find that they're really focused and obsessed with, I don't want to age my skin, and you're kind of going, well, you really don't need that much done to your skin. And you know, it's your opportunity to either sell them up to something they probably don't need, or I kind of do a lateral pass and say, well, let's get you started on DefenAge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let you kind of see how you look in a month, and we'll kind of go from there. I typically just start off with the basic, you know, the original pack, and then start adding neck creams, eye cream,
Mm-hmm.
body cream, if they're kind of impressed and want to go on and start using other areas.
Right.
And then of course anyone where they just want to rejuvenate their skin. Typically what I also do too is I say to people, let's kind of make a deal here. I think ultimately you only need to use it once a day, but I like to have people use it twice a day for about a month. And then say, okay, next time you can just kind of relax, let go, and just use it once a day. So you can use other products that you may have as favorites, you know, whether it's
Absolutely.
Retin-A or, you know, good antioxidants, other products that they just want to use. In a sense, those products can be used with DefenAge at the same time. You just have to layer them so that, you know, you get the active sort of response to, you know, for example, Retin-A or a vitamin C, because again, that barrier balance cream kind of blocks everything. So
Right.
you put your active stuff, you know, if you want to do more active stuff, you just put that on first.
Yeah. So I've been with DefenAge for 7 years now. I've been on the product for 7 years. My skin's frozen at 35, thankfully. But
You're 80?
And I'm 80 now.
Yeah, you're doing really well.
But if you use DefenAge twice a day, it's more of a corrective result that you're going to get. If you use it once a day, it's more of that maintenance. Yeah. And we play well with any other skincare product. There's no reason why you can't use anything you love with DefenAge.
Right. And I think basically most people after that initial month or so, they kind of want to add other products they like, even some over-the-counter products. But I try to explain to them that it's very interesting, a lot of the patented ingredients that are unique to certain product lines all kind of originated in Carlsbad, California. They all kind of live on the same street.
Yep.
And so I say that, you know, the products coming out of Carlsbad are some of the best, and I think of all of them, DefenAge is probably, you know, my favorite. And in fact, I think you could remind me, I think Good Housekeeping just did a study of body creams, wasn't it?
Correct.
And I think it was like 995
It was a
products.
lot
That's
of
a lot.
products.
That tells you how much is out there. They evaluate all of them as far as the response, the improvement of the skin, you know, the overall dryness of the skin, and the user's kind of assessment of how their skin looked. And much to my surprise, but pleasure, DefenAge, their new body and hand lotion, won out of all 995 of those products. So
Correct.
that's pretty impressive.
Huge feat.
Yeah.
I was talking to the person who manages our marketing, and she said she was talking to somebody who was doing part of the testing, and what she loved about it was she put on the product and then she grabbed her pen to go write about it, and it wasn't greasy. So a lot of times hand and body lotions are really greasy. Ours has no grease feel to it. So if you're typing on your computer and stuff afterwards, it doesn't leave a mess on your keyboard, which is nice.
I'm very sensitive to that too, and I agree. You're fine
Yeah.
right afterwards. But there are some that are good products, but oh my gosh, like I can't touch anything for a
Right.
while. And you just have to sit there and wait until it absorbs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually have been treating one arm and not the other, so I'll send photos over so we can post them up for you.
How long have you been doing that?
So I've been doing one arm for about 4 months,
Okay.
and I've been using the original line, not even the Pro line on it. And there's a huge difference in the pigmentation in my skin, as well as the texture, the softness of
No,
the
you're talking about the hand
hand and body
lotion.
lotion. Yeah.
Now, do you put any of the BioComplete serum on too? Because I've been told that that can also help turbocharge the whole response, that there's a lot more defenses in that.
So we absolutely recommend that, but personally I have not been doing it, and the reason is I wanted to see how good the hand and body worked by itself. Now that I've done this, and once we get some good photos, I think it's time to step it up and add the serum.
Well, I think that it kind of depends on people's budget, because you're going to go through that serum fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least where I typically do it is I say, even though you're using like the eye cream, the neck cream, don't be afraid to put that serum right up underneath your eyes and just to take a little bit down in your neck. That's not a lot of product, but when you start going out to the body, that's quite a few pumps.
Well, the new larger bottle lasts quite a bit longer on the body, and it spreads pretty far, so it's more reasonable than putting the trio on your body.
Yeah. Well, you know, actually, I have to say that's kind of made it a challenge too. It's made me have to be a more careful label reader, because I used to say big bottle goes on first, smaller bottle goes on second, but now they're the same size. So you do have to kind of look and make sure you're putting the right product on first.
Right.
I think there also I saw too, and you could discuss this one, that they received some patent approval for a couple applications. I don't think they're actually yet into totally, but it's kind of shown the effective defenses for hair, for example, and for melasma, for pigmentation, that there's kind of some secondary effects of defenses that even treat things that we didn't even think about at first.
Correct. So we don't have any studies out on this yet. We do have the patent on it, so I can't provide too much information for it. But with the melasma, part of what we're doing is we're burying the pigment, but we have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties in the product, so I think it helps prevent some of that rebound plasma that you can get.
So when you're saying burying it, you're really kind of referring to the fact that the dermis improves, thickens, and therefore, that layer of dermal trapped melanin just kind of gets pushed down.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think the other thing too, and I don't think you've ever discussed this, but I say to people, because your epidermis is turning over faster, and you have fresh new cells, and you're not trying to stimulate old cells, that part of the pigment process too is the melanocytes transfer pigment or the melanin to the keratinocytes that move up, migrate into the skin, and ultimately flake off as dead skin. So if you've got skin that's turning over faster, you're probably going to eliminate more melanin up there too. And that's probably what makes people's skin a lot brighter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all those new cells that we're growing, those new basal cells, are fresh, young, pigment-free, just like when you're a baby. How was your skin when you were a baby?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on. It was soft, it was bright, it was smooth, just like it is now, because you've been on DefenAge for 5 years, I think now.
Yeah, I think I actually was one of the first people to try it. Was I think the first time they presented it at a meeting in
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey.
I was there.
And they said, "Hey, do you want to try this?" And I said, "Sure." And literally that weekend, I saw a difference, and I said, "Okay, I'm sold."
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the hair patent, I'm not sure exactly how the patent's written or what it says, but my understanding is we're basically creating a better environment for the hair to grow in, which is helping the hair grow better. So the more vascularity, nutrients, everything that's around that follicle, it definitely is going to help with hair growth.
Right. Well, that kind of makes sense too, because I've said the signs of a scalp that's losing hair and probably going to permanently have lost hair. The skin gets very atrophic, thin. There's less vascularity. That scalp just becomes tight and white, and there's just no life left of that skin.
Right.
And that's when you can't even do a hair transplant that sort of skin.
Right.
But I challenge everyone to just kind of see how your scalp moves around when you basically rub it and move it around. And you'll see that it's different on different people. Women, for example, seem to have looser scalps than men. And as men start losing hair, that scalp starts getting really tight.
Right.
And I think that's what probably DefenAge improves, is vascularity and the suppleness of the skin.
So in the meantime, you can put the serum in the hair. I'd probably do it at night because it kind of leaves it a little gooey. But we will eventually, I don't have a timeline or anything, I'm sure we're working on a hair serum of some sort though.
Right,
So.
yeah, that's good news. Well, I think the other thing too that people need to appreciate is that the original line will still be available.
Absolutely.
I think actually even your company on its website sells the product. And I would say to people, if you want to commit to just staying with the original product line, I would highly encourage you to go to the DefenAge website itself, because things are getting a little weird on the internet. You never know what you're buying, whether it's expired product or fake product. So I think trust your sources. The Platinum Pro though was only out of certified offices that are actually doing business with DefenAge. And so what our patients will do is you'll need to come in to actually pick up your first supply. But once we have a record that you have purchased Platinum Plus, you can then go ahead and order it from us on our website. But we will never be selling it online directly to people we don't know.
Perfect.
Anything else you'd like to mention?
Trying to think of what else is out there. We actually skipped over the neck cream a little bit. So
Oh, yeah.
the neck cream did win a New Beauty Award again for this year for the best neck cream, which is a nice compliment as well.
Well, there's a lot of competition in the neck cream
There's a
department.
lot.
So.
The past couple of years, a ton have come out.
Right,
So.
right. And, again, I think we've got a lot of good eye creams, but I find that if someone's really kind of dealing with, just that kind of thin, atrophic, kind of early crepe papery skin, this is where DefenAge really shines, on eyelids too. So I think it's a great product and probably one of the best of the eye creams as well.
A lot of times too with like what type of people are good for DefenAge. I think we touched on this a little bit, but younger patients, I think it's really good to come in and get like at least one treatment. So use one trio once a year to kind of maintain healthy skin. And then as you get older, you can use it more often, but it's really good for thickening the skin and really making it plump and
Right.
younger, fresher.
Right. When you're my age, you don't leave home. You never leave home without it.
Your skin looks great.
So, so I think that's the important thing, is to realize that you can't overuse it. But based on your age, the younger you are, the more likely you're able to do one kit, get that skin really revved up. You're probably good to go for up to a year. Or you could just kind of pulse treat your skin too. I think that's also something that could be done if people kind of want to,
Absolutely.
once a month, just to kind of do a week of it, just
Yep.
to pulse treat their skin.
Absolutely.
But I think the other thing too is you don't want to overuse it. So, a couple pumps is all you need. And so don't be the person who just sits there and pump, because it's not inexpensive, but it's not outrageous.
Right.
I mean, I've always said,
It's reasonable
if you
for
want
the
to,
results.
if you want to compare it to outrageous, go buy some La Mer, and you'll experience outrageous pricing.
Absolutely.
So it's a deal compared to a lot of outrageous products out there.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you for coming down to take the time to talk with me about it.
Been good to
And,
see you in person.
And certainly check out DefenAge, and for those who are using it, realize we are going to be transitioning to Platinum Plus only. When the old supplies run out, that's it. We're just going to basically say, okay, now we're only a Platinum Plus office. So we hope to see you soon.
Thanks.